panga mtunzi tiende pamozi tonse a Zambia mtima umozi chikondi chatu palibe kusiyana ndife amozi tieni tipange ziko latu.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zambia today is living inside one of the strangest political moments in its post-independence history. A former president is dead, but not buried. His body lies in South Africa. His family has remained there for months. Parliament has lost a sitting member because she refused to return home even for a single attendance. And hanging over all of this is an unresolved cloud of alleged corruption that death has not erased, only complicated. This is not gossip. This is not disrespect. This is reality. Edgar Chagwa Lungu is gone, but the questions surrounding his presidency, his wealth, and the institutions that failed to hold him accountable are very much alive. When the Swazi Secrets investigation revealed a leaked financial intelligence memo tying Edgar Lungu to alleged corruption linked to a luxury property in Eswatini, the story already carried enormous political weight. It exposed a system where intelligence existed, warnings were written, and evidence circulated quietly, while action never came. Now Lungu's death has placed Zambia in an uncomfortable limbo. The man at the center of the allegations can no longer answer questions, testify, or defend himself in court. But the paper trail remains, the institutions remain, the failures remain. And the country is left asking, did death arrive before accountability, or was accountability deliberately postponed until death arrived? Perhaps the most unsettling detail is not even the leaked memo itself. It is what followed after Lungu's death. His body has remained in South Africa for an extended period. His immediate family has stayed there for months. Zambia waits, watches, and whispers. There is no closure, no burial, no national reckoning, just an eerie suspension. In African political culture, burial is not a footnote. It is symbolic. It signals closure, reconciliation, and the end of an era. Here, there is none. And in the vacuum, questions multiply. Why the delay? Why the prolonged absence? Why does it feel as though the family is physically distant from the country, even in death? Then came the quiet but explosive political decision that confirmed this was not just grief. It was rapture. Tarsila Lungu, Edgar Lungu's daughter, and a sitting member of parliament relinquished a parliamentary seat, not because of elections, not because of scandal, but because she refused to return to Zambia even once to attend parliament. One attendance, one constitutional duty, one appearance. She chose not to. For a sitting MP, particularly the child of a former president, this is not a small act. It is a political statement, whether intended or not. It signals distance, discomfort, and perhaps fear of a political environment that has grown hostile to the Lungu name. And it reinforces a disturbing image. A former first family that has mentally, politically, and physically exited Zambia while unresolved questions remain buried. Not with the body, but beneath the state itself. Let us return to the core of the issue. The leaked memo from Zambia's Financial Intelligence Center alleged that Edgar Lungu accumulated wealth through corrupt means and benefited from bribes tied to a luxury plot at Eswatini's elite Nkonyeni Golf Estate. Crucially, The memo was written while Lungu was still president. It was not acted upon. It was only shared across borders after he lost power. At the time, this already suggested fear, capture, or paralysis inside Zambia's institutions. Now with Lungu dead, the memo reads differently. It no longer represents a missed opportunity to prosecute a living suspect. It represents institutional betrayal of the public, of the constitution, and of the idea that no one is above the law. Because if intelligence agencies knew, documented, and circulated these concerns and still did nothing, then corruption did not merely exist at the top. It existed in the silence below. There is an uncomfortable truth many Zambians are thinking but not saying aloud. Did Edgar Lungu escape accountability not through innocence but through time? Time bought by delays. Time bought by inaction. Time bought by institutions that waited until elections, transitions, and eventually death made justice inconvenient. In this sense, death becomes the ultimate shield, not just for Lungu, but for everyone who failed to act while he was alive. Because prosecutions are harder, truth becomes political, and any attempt to pursue accountability can now be dismissed as attacking the dead. What about the family's absence and the nation's unease? The prolonged stay in South Africa, the refusal to return, the abandonment of a parliamentary seat, these are not illegal acts, but they are deeply symbolic. They suggest a family that does not feel safe, welcome, or willing to engage with the Zambia that exists after Edgar Lungu. And that should concern everyone, not because of sympathy, but because it reflects the depth of political polarization and unresolved injustice in the country. When former leaders die without closure, nations do not heal. They rot quietly. Ultimately, the Zambian Files must be clear and honest. This story is no longer about Edgar Lungu as a man. It is about Zambia as a system where intelligence exists but is buried. Anti-corruption bodies hesitate until it's too late. Political families can disengage entirely without consequence. Death becomes an escape hatch from accountability. Whether Lungu was guilty or not should have been tested in court, not debated after his death. That failure belongs to the state. Zambia is waiting for a burial, waiting for answers, waiting for institutions that act on evidence, not politics. Waiting for a future where justice does not depend on whether a powerful person is alive or dead. Edgar Lungu is gone, but the Swazi Secrets remain. And until they are confronted honestly, Zambia will keep burying the truth, even when the body itself remains unburied. This is Zambian Files, where death does not end the investigation and silence is never accepted as closure. Subscribe, share, and let your concerns known in the comments section below.